What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It is time for a brand new video. It is the morning after the night before. Leeds United head back to the top of the league, but we have to do everything in order to stay there. And we've had some news that will make it a little bit trickier, and we'll get into that in this video. Before I get into the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, drop your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Thank you to David Roberts, William Morrison, and Perrit House for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. Big up for the support and big up to every single member of the channel that contributes in that way. It means a lot, goes a long way. And if you want to become a member, the link is in the description. So let's get straight into this. We are back top of the league, people, but I'm not getting carried away. I'm not getting carried away. They got me after the Sheffield United game. You're not getting me again. What we've got to do now is follow up the brilliant result against Middlesbrough last night and follow it up against Preston on Saturday. And all the momentum now is with us. Our rivals dropping points yesterday, for me, unexpectedly. I could not foresee those results, but it shows you anything can happen. We're going to go into our last fixtures in a moment, but we've got a couple of things that Daniel Farke said last night in regards to the game and things going forward. But how much better does that feel? It feels great, but it's not over. We know that there's probably another twist and turn. I can only hope it's got nothing to do with us, and it's Burnley and Sheffield United duking it out for second spot. But in regards to last night's game, something big that did come from it, and you guys know I don't speak about refs and linesmen too much, but Daniel Farke was well within his rights to speak about it yesterday, and he did so after the game. And he did it in a way that I don't think he's going to get fined, which is very smart of him. But look, he said this, and it's all broken up here, but essentially this is what he said. He cannot do anything because if I was here with a big speech, I'd probably have to watch the next game from the gantry. And he did all right then, you know, when he was not in the dugout for the Sheffield United game. So it's not a bad thing, Daniel. I know it's a difficult job, but struggling with the two disallowed goals, what I don't understand is if it's in doubt, the assistant waves his flag for the defense. By the way, that quote below as well, Darlow was not there with one save after another. They had shots, but not too many clear-cut chances. Never said that familiarly in all those times. But anyway, going on here. I'm not sure why he's the assistant for us and why he rules out 3 good goals in 8 weeks. It's about millions of pounds, but we allow ourselves this level of assistant performances. I'm struggling with this, and it's hard to accept. There was a little bit more in regards to this. I don't believe someone does it on purpose. But when it happens this often, there should be other people who protect him. I don't think he meant it, but 3 times in 8 weeks, it's not up to me. Referees are responsible to organize. So essentially, what we're getting with Darren Williams, who was the linesman in question, is Daniel Farke is basically saying he can't come back here. And he's absolutely right. If the referees and the organizations do send him out there, then maybe some of you with the conspiracies may be right that they're trying to keep Leeds down, because there's no reasons now. He's literally had 3 very, very debatable decisions, and for me, yesterday was just the icing on the cake. Both goals, I mean, but he's responsible for the first one. It should never have been disallowed, never. So now it's on the FA, the referees, to say, you know what, man, you can't go to any more leagues matches, because if something else does happen now, you know, there could be implications. Let's just put it that way. So I don't expect to see Darren Williams for our remaining 5 games, and that is the right thing as well. Just a couple of other quotes that you know, the one in particular, he did say about the win, there's no substitute for a winning performance, and he's absolutely right, so keep it up. But the one thing that did come out, we saw Dan James was struggling. And this is what Farke had to say. James had problems with his hamstring, took him off not to risk anything, but it could be that the turnaround is too quick for Saturday, does not look too good as it stands, which is a shame, by the way, because Dan James has played himself back into form. You know, he had a quiet period even just after the international break, but in the last 2 games, he's been instrumental in the performances, hasn't he? He's been one of the best performers, definitely one of the best performers against Luton, along with Darlow, and was the man of the match for me last night. But if he is to miss the game, and it does sound like it's going to be a quick turnaround, so I wouldn't risk it. I would give him a game off, as much as it sucks because he is in form. We do have options. So my question to you is, before we preview the Preston game, who is coming in for Dan James? Now, the obvious answer for me is probably Willie Gnonto, although, you know, Gnonto for me does his best work off the left. He can be a capable soldier down the right, so that's not too much of a problem. Could it be Isaac Schmidt? Could it be Isaac Schmidt, who is now the preferred winger ahead of Largie Ramazani? And listen, a few of you asked me about Largie Ramazani. I can't think of it in any other way than this. So, go with me on the example, but just know the context of what I'm saying. That whole thing last night where he's pushing Largie towards the fans and all smiling, it's just performative for me. He's literally just had another game where Largie has not come off the bench, even though he's had ample opportunity to come on and make a difference when Solomon comes off, or even when Dan James comes off. And I think after the way he's spoken about him publicly, for him to push Largie out there, for me, it's just all for show. And it's almost like, when you get those celebrity couples where you've heard that some things have gone on behind the scenes, and then the next day they've arranged a photographer to come out and photograph them like smiling hand in hand, like, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Like this. It's like, what are you guys trying to pull here? Because what's Largie gonna do? He can't just say, hey man, don't touch me. He can't go out there and go, nah, I don't want to, I don't deserve the applause, or I don't feel like I can take part. He can't do any of that. So he's got to grin and bear it. And it's almost like that abusive relationship, trigger warning. It's like an abusive relationship where the guy is literally just lambasted his girl for a couple of days and then said, you know what, man, we're going to go out and show we're a happy couple. Yeah, for me, it's performative, and it doesn't mean anything unless they've really made amends behind the scenes, saying like it's too soon for this game against Middlesbrough. But you know what, if you impress in training, then Preston, you could probably come on. And listen, there's an ample opportunity now for Largie to come in now and make an impression, prove Daniel Farke wrong in his eyes. He's the one that's got to improve. The only thing I would say in Largie, again, in Largie's defense, we saw Aronson and Solomon with tricks last night. It'll be interesting to see if we hear anything in the press conference. My guess is we won't, and I don't think journals will push him on it either, in all fairness. So, but yeah, listen, the whole thing with Largie is very puzzling, but this is now a chance, if Largie is to come in, for him to impress against Preston. But I do think Willian Onto takes a spot in light of Dan James, because what I don't want to do with Dan James is, even if he feels 99% fit, you can't mess with it. He's already had issues with his hamstrings. Let's not exasperate the injury. Give him a week off and then see how good he is for the next one. But we've got options in there that can replace DJ, as big as the loss he will be. So looking at our remaining 5 fixtures, it says 6 here because obviously we've got a pre-season game against Man United, which is that a precursor for the Premier League? Yeah, but look, we've got Preston at home, and then we've got Oxford next Friday. Good team, good side. Come on. But listen, and then we got Stoke City on the Monday, so a few days later, Bristol City at home, and then Plymouth away to finish it. When you look at these fixtures on paper, there should be no issues for Leeds United, but we know that the game isn't played on paper. But if we play to any way, 99% of our capacity in these games, we should be up. It's that simple. We shouldn't be dropping out the top 2. Again, we shouldn't be dropping out. So I'm looking at these fixtures and I feel very good. When you look at them in comparison to Burnley, Sheffield United, here's Burnley's. They've got, a couple of tricky ones, but obviously, the big one is right there. It's right in the middle there. Monday, 21st of April, Burnley, Sheffield United, massive game. Huge implications for both teams and including us. But we got to keep on doing what we need to do by the time this game comes around. And of course, Sheffield United obviously have Burnley too, works the same. But, they've got Stoke City away. Blackburn have fallen off a cliff now, but they've got Plymouth up next, which is where they'll need to go and rectify this bad run of form that they've bumped into. Because you know what Chris Wilder said in the first game? It was a disgrace that the fans booed them off against Oxford, and I did kind of agree with him for that. But last night he was a little bit more subservient. He said, I can understand why we're getting booed after 2 bad games. It's funny how things change in football quickly, isn't it? And I did say in the preview, if we can just get into the chink of that armor now from Sheffield United, we've got to exploit it, and let's keep it going against Preston. So yeah, looking at our fixtures, we should be okay, right? We should be okay. This was reported yesterday by GFFN, Get French Football News, and they compile all of the French football rumors. But they did put this out yesterday from Football Mercado. Leeds United are interested in Montpellier centre-back Medivo Sagno, who's 25. A fire sale is expected at Montpellier this summer, with the club on the verge of relegation to Ligue 2. With it's an interesting one for me in this. I haven't seen him play too much. I have seen him play a few times. For me, though, and this is where I go straight away, he doesn't replace either of our two centre backs. So for me, it's like, well, why are we getting him? Is he to be a squad option? If we are looking at him, obviously this is just a rumor. For me, he's just a little bit too clumsy, and I hate to say that, but he is. He's just very rash with the tackles. He's not too good in the air, so I'm not sure why he's there. He's got good ball playing abilities, and I think that's probably where we're looking at for the Premier League. You need to be good with your feet. I know that, but if your defensive nous isn't there, and if for me, just off the bat, if you're not replacing Pascal or Joe Rodon, in my opinion, then there's no point. We need to push those two down to the bench if possible, not add somebody who just makes up the numbers and who could be okay. I guess if it's a cheap fee and it suits all parties, then I guess so. But for me, it doesn't. It give me confidence. I've got better defensive options that I think Leeds United can obtain, and we'll get into that come the summer window videos. But if you've seen him play and if you agree that he could be a good, put it in the comments below. All right, put it in the comments below. But listen, people, that will be it for the video. Please hit a like on the video. It really does help out the channel's visibility. And I'll see you in the next video, people, which should be the press conference. That should be tomorrow with us playing on 12:30 Saturday. So we usually have it on the Thursday. But listen, I'll see you in the next one, people.